Alright everyone, after misusing third-party data, selling it to Cambridge Analytica, which then in turn violated Facebook's own shitty contracts, after selling user data to companies in China, which means to the Chinese government because it's essentially planned totalitarian communist regime, after doing all that, Zuckerberg came before Congress and said, don't worry, we'll expand our user data, like privacy stuff, we'll make sure that this doesn't happen again, as though it's not still happening actively. For some reason, Congress hasn't called him back before them to chastise him, probably because he gives them a lot of money. Zuckerberg funds these idiots to the tune of many hundreds of millions a year, both directly and indirectly. So don't tell me that there are many people in Congress that actually have the balls to cross-question him in a significant manner. Now we found out something new the other day. We found out Facebook has also been approaching users' banks to try to get more user data. That is, Facebook, without your permission, knowledge, or consent, has decided, hey, we've got a lot of data on this user. We know their political views, we know their religious views, we know where they go, we've got their routine down, we know where they work, we know who their friends are, their social connections. We basically have a pretty good character mapping of this human being. Now we want their banking data too. We want to know what they buy and sell. We want to know their banking numbers probably. We want to know everything about them under the sun. Now you may say, well, they're a private company, they can do what they want. Ho, 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 it's so fun. Okay. If you actually believe that this is acceptable, ethical, or should be allowed under US law, you are kidding yourself. I think that you would be better off going to North Korea because it's sort of how you'll be living. Zuckerberg has no actual legitimate need for this data, and as far as I know, there's no element within Facebook's terms of service that says, hey, Facebook may approach third parties to dig for more info on you. I'm pretty sure this may be actually illegal and lead to a class action suit. But then again, Facebook has done so many potentially illegal things that it's just a matter of Congress having the balls to question Zuckerberg under oath, catch him in a lie and throw him in a cell, which really he should have been in one to begin with. People should have known better than to put 100% authentic info on Facebook to begin with. You think everything on my shitty, now largely abandoned Facebook profile is real? Oh, fuck that. I would never do that. Nor should anyone else on any platform, by the way. People like Instagram, which is Zuckerberg, on Snapchat and stuff. If you actually think that any private message you make is truly private, that any info that you put on there is truly the privacy of its being respected, that you have a protected account on Twitter so actually Uncle Sam or some other group can't look at it, you're fooling yourself. It's not the way the internet works. It's supposed to be. It's how it should work. We should have much stronger privacy protections online. That you've got to understand Facebook's fiscal dynamic to understand why they would do this. Facebook makes its money at this point not on ads being clicked, but on collating user data. It is the most massive repository in the world of people's personal info. He bundles that together into batches and sells it to companies. And he formulated a very, very happy strategy for Facebook for doing this to keep making money for many, many years to come, even if the platform slowly begins to die out, even if Facebook begins truly dying. Right now it's stagnant. It's neither really gaining nor losing users. Let's say it starts hemorrhaging users. MySpace mode. Zuckerberg doesn't give a fuck. His stock can basically disappear and he can still make a lot of money. How? He sells that data to a company. And in order to get that data, which they think they need for some reason, they say, okay, we'll sign your contract. That contract stipulates that they can't in turn do anything with that data other than analyze it for themselves. So Facebook can sell the same single batch of data to 1,000 different companies, making that same money over and over and over again. They just have to pace themselves. They get 100 years worth of data there. And they get more, like, even though some older users are like, I'm closing my account, your data's still there forever. They never delete that data, and new people will come along and continue fleshing it out. It'll be slower, but trust me, 100 years from now, Zuckerberg, whose head at that point will be in a jar attached to a life support machine or an android or something, he'll have shed his fake skin and you'll just see the robotic synth-looking parts inside, the Generation 2 synth or something. At that, he'll still have billions of dollars. It won't even matter. The only thing that can hold him accountable at this point is Congress needs to act, cross-examine him, say, hey, we want definitive answers under oath to some of these questions. Trust me, if they try to put him under oath, he will resist with every penny he's got because he knows he's broken our laws. They'll call him forth, question him, eventually throw him in a cell and order the destruction of all the user data from deleted accounts and stuff. they'll make new stipulations for privacy. By the way, did you notice the Democrats apparently like a week ago were already circulating a memo calling for I think it was an important facilities status for internet firms, which would include all sorts of like NPR and C-SPAN style bullshit. Like, it's the worst possible outcome as the government gets involved with the internet sort of debate over free speech and ends up fucking up the internet worse than the tech firms. At this point, that seems to be the two directions. The left is going in that direction. Hey, let the state control it and fuck it up. And then people who are actually like, further right, they're like, no, it's the free market will fix it and shit like that, even though it's not a free market anymore. Somebody yesterday rhetorically asking, name a monopoly that didn't require the government to maintain it. Well, Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. And some of them function better than others. Like, as far as I know, Amazon doesn't really abuse people, and I say that after having a run-in with their CreateSpace team over copyright. By and large, it's hilarious to me that Amazon is the good guy of all the big tech firms, the least likely to fuck you over. It's hilarious. Bezos makes money hand over fist. I guess he doesn't care. He's so rich. He's like, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. It works. We'll just make sure to slash prices anytime some competitor starts creeping up so they can't compete and have to go bankrupt and fold immediately. And it's a really, really cutthroat model. It also works very, very well. Better a U.S. firm than Alibaba, basically China controlling e-commerce. I say that unironically. I'd rather have Amazon in charge than have Alibaba rise up and replace it. I don't really want to publish books with Alibaba. I think that might be problematic, if you know what I'm saying. Now, it'll only take 2 weeks to ship this subpar product that was assembled by child slaves in a factory over in Beijing. No, thank you. I think I'll work with Amazon. There's bad enough conditions there. At least it's tolerable compared to the alternative. Now, Facebook has no right to go and talk to somebody's fucking bank without telling them beforehand and saying, hey, we want to know their transaction data. We want to know what they buy, how much they make, everything else about them, because we don't have that data yet. We need this data. We'll pay your bank to give us this data. They're offering these banks money to give them user data. I want to know which banks have flipped. I want to know which banks have violated their users' rights. And I want Congress to look into this and say, hey, since when did these financial institutions start selling their own private data on their users to a tech firm simply because it wants to flesh out its algorithm again? When did this start happening? I think that this is way more dystopian than just, someone got banned or suspended. That's bad enough. From a monarchist perspective, it's already animalistic. This is 10 times worse. This should have alarm bells ringing in the minds of even the most pro-censorship blocks within the country, and a lot of them haven't even heard about the story. I think it's the most concerning story we've heard all year, and I say that unironically. That's about all. Peace out.